Alrighty, welcome back to the Gas Station Podcast. This is episode 4. I've got a very, very special guest on today. I am so glad that you drove here to meet up with me and be able to talk. Please introduce yourself, tell us who you're with, and we'll get into it, bro.
Hell yeah, man. Well, thank you for having me. I'm Brett Booth. I'm the Director of Sales and Marketing for True North Collective.
Yeah.
So True North and 5-Star Extracts. But yeah, thank you for having me, man.
Absolutely, bro. Anytime. Like I said, I'm so glad that you drove out here to do this. Could not be more happy to dive into what you guys are doing and what you guys have done. I first tried your gummies a while back, and then I tried, what would I say, probably be one of my favorite gummies of all time at the ice cream Hashco event.
Yep.
Which are the orange dreamsicle.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'm just a sucker for that flavor. I think I even I don't know, when I first moved up here, I loved Super Boof and kind of crazed out for it for a second. And I think that kind of even aligns with it, you know, in a sense. So, just a lot of those flavors and stuff like that. But could you tell me a little bit maybe about what inspired the founding of True North Collective, like in 2019, and how it's evolved since then?
Absolutely. Yeah. So we started off essentially from two caregivers coming together. One on the cultivation side. His uncle was in finance, and when legalization or AU came through in Michigan, they they were like,
now hold up, for those people who don't know AU.
Yep. Adult use.
Okay.
Yes.
There you go.
So yeah, it used to be. Now it's primarily, it's like not even referred to two different things almost at this point, because med supplies in most shops are just about non-existent at this point. But got the news about adult use, recreational, coming through in Michigan, and they were like, let's make a run at it. Had been doing it on the traditional or black market or caregiver, whatever, market you want to call it. But, started off as that's like the collective essentially. Is Justin Wade had 5-Star as his brand since like 2015. So,
wow.
Had been doing his thing with a lot in like the Bay City area, Detroit. He's kind of out from this way to Contra.
Okay.
So,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but back then, you'd have to drive to Detroit or Bay City or these hot spots in Michigan for the med market. But yeah.
Yeah, and like you said, now the med market seems to just be disappearing.
Yeah.
I don't. From the dispos that I've seen, around here, I haven't even seen medical ones around. If it is, their selection's so small that everyone's like, I'm gonna go to the rec side now.
Yeah.
So it's been an interesting change, I think, to see, because I started coming up, I think, in 2018 and shopping around at that time, and that time it was completely different. It was like, how do I get a med card?
Yeah. All the good shit was on that side,
No, and the gummies, everything. It was like, how do I get over there, bro?
Yeah, I kind of forgot about the gummy dosage. Yeah, but you're absolutely right. It's and then it kind of got to a point where it was like, are you shopping med or rec? And you're like, well, I have my med card, but I'm probably walking out of here with rec, just because I almost flipped, the fresher stuff and everything was on the AU side of the menu.
It's been exciting to see how that took off, and I think now most places, instead offering med discount for rec is kind of how they do that.
I think that's a smart move.
It is. It allows everybody to still shop, feel like that they're still getting some their money's worth on that med side too, because taxes is unfortunate. Even though we have it good up here in Michigan, I'm not complaining. I mean, I am. Dude, and I'm not.
If you have the option to, paying for taxes is like paying for tires or a roof or something like that. It's like, man, it's essential. It just sucks when you have to. If you can avoid paying even $1, it's worth it.
Exactly, bro. But could you tell me? So, dude, I'll tell you this. Like I said, your gummies are one of my favorites. So, how do you guys ensure the quality and consistency with your products? Because I know, like I said, we talked about ice cream. I won't bring up the brand we talked about earlier, but we talked about another collab that you guys have coming up too.
Oh, yeah.
So, how do you make sure that stuff is on par for what you want to release?
It's a it comes down to the SOP and just being able to fully homogenize the batch.
Okay.
So the way that we make gummies, it's in kettles, raw ingredients and materials go into it. So we can kind of ensure that that's homogenized throughout the entire batch. We also do, you know, testing. Every single batch obviously is tested.
Yep.
And then we do quality control in-house. You know, there's a team that, you know, it's tough work, but we got to test the product too. You know what I mean? So
yeah, tough work.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Faded.
Yeah, for sure.
Bro, that's awesome. Now, oh, maybe this you can answer even a little bit deeper into this question. With the quality, I'm sure you guys have to test different flavors and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
how do you guys come up with these combinations? Like, bro, like berries and cream is another one that I'm just like, I told you earlier, I love. Like, where do these flavors come from? How do you guys come up with that stuff?
Well, at this point, we kind of have a backlog of flavors. You know, we didn't plan on making gummies at all when we first opened our doors. Like, if you should come to the facility sometime. But
I'd love to.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. Yeah.
Because you guys started off as extracts, right?
Yeah. Well, cultivation initially, and then we talked with Justin. You know, realized that our goals and aspirations were aligned, and that's, you know, when he came on board too. So, you know, we were like, all right, let's figure out how to get extraction in the building. So they have a wing off of cultivation, but the building itself was pretty much just set up for growing, and you know, and kind of not doing it in 2018 because, you know, we had our first sale in 2019, but the gears were kind of moving in 2018. But, you know, there's a lot that has changed. You know, there's a lot that changes in growing style, and what you thought you might have a purpose for this room for this has changed into this. So, but yeah, we threw extraction into one side and then realized that not a lot of people were making gummies. So we're like, let's make gummies. And we went flavor crazy there for a while. We had like 20 different flavors. We do like seasonal ones, and now it's kind of narrowed down to a little bit more like clear and cohesive. Like, this flavor is part of this line and this line and this line. But
those seasonal ones are bomb though. I've had a few of those. Bro. I've been able to snag and I loved them, bro. So
thank you.
You guys put some unique stuff in the gummies, and sometimes I scratch my head. I'm like, is that gonna even like?
Yeah.
And then I eat it, and I'm like,
we've had
what?
And it's all like, you know, individual obviously as well, because it truly tastes, you know. But yeah, I've seen some wild ones in our day. Like, we did a root beer and a cake batter flavor at one point. We did them like with full spectrum. I think the root beer was paired with GMO, and some people were reaching out like, what are you doing? And then others were like, we can't keep them in stock. You know what I mean? So
the root beer was one of the ones I tried.
Yeah.
So,
there
loved that
some
one,
different ones. Yeah, we've made jokes too, like when Christmas comes around, like, let's do an eggnog. Well, obviously we're kidding, but, you know, but like,
please.
Right? Yeah.
Please, that'd be so crazy, bro. Even if it's just like the most limited batch of like gummies ever, I feel like that would go nuts. Because you have those people who just love eggnog.
Right, yeah, true. Yeah. If it's done well, you can do just about any flavor. I've seen other brands like do some wild, you know.
Caramel apple was one I had tried that recently. I was like, what?
Yep.
And that surprisingly was like bomb.
Yeah.
I loved it. It tasted like one of those like caramel apple suckers. Mm-hmm. It was incredible.
Yeah. But a lot of stuff that would be more traditional and like baking stuff has made its way into gummies. You know, like banana flavored gummies and vanilla. Vanilla works, but, you know, seen some weird ones.
Yeah. No, for sure, bro. People go out there. I saw a different brand. I did not try these. I'm not gonna lie. But I saw Choice had a flavor that was mango habanero.
Okay. I could see how that'd be good, you know?
Maybe. I don't know about that. I've had it in like liquor, you know.
It's funny that you say that, because that's where my brain, you know, goes, is like, I don't really drink too much, and you know, at all anymore, but I like cocktails and like that culture, you know, and I feel like it pushes the envelopes with flavors. And, you know, I remember building a recipe for, it was like a Paloma, or not Paloma, God, now I'm freezing because I'm on camera.
No, bro, you're fine.
Smoky tequila.
Old Smoky's tequila?
No, it's a type of liquor.
Oh, okay.
Oh my goodness.
I don't drink either, so you're lost here, bro.
Dude, mezcal.
Oh
my
yeah,
God.
okay.
Yeah. So
Now
like,
I'm with you.
It was a mezcal-based drink, but it had peach, and we smoked poblano peppers. And so that peach and the spice and the smoke, it was actually a really good combination, but you wouldn't think of it originally. You know, kudos to people who push those things.
Yeah,
you know?
no, absolutely, bro. I'm all for trying wild stuff like that. When I was in Mexico, I tried a tequila that was distilled with marijuana.
Oh, okay.
And
yeah, is it terpy?
Oh, buddy, it tasted like ripping
grass.
a cart.
Okay.
From like 2018 when they first came out, before the bullshit flavors came out. You know, when they were like, there was so much like still like matter left in the actual like distillate that like it was turning black and like almost like that dark brown color. That's what I'm talking about. Like it just tasted like a rough cart hit. You know, maybe one that's almost empty even.
Oh, okay.
But it was like. Ooh. Yeah, no, that's distilled with weed. It's crazy though how that, you know, sometimes that stuff does translate with flavors back and forth. Maybe it would work in gummies for sure, but I don't know, bro. There's some weird ones out there. I'm asking people, customers and stuff like that. I'm like, let me know what you think of it. They come back. I'm like, so was it good or not? And some of those times they're, absolutely, that was some of the best stuff. I'm like, all right, I will I'm gonna pick a pack up after work. Jesus, say that 3 times fast. Oh man, what differentiates True North's products from others in the Michigan market? You know, I think that there's a lot out there in the market, and like I said, we've talked a little bit about the gummies, but maybe you can just give us an overall kind of perspective from your guys' thoughts on that.
Absolutely. It's a great question, and you know, it's something that we try to ask ourselves too, because whether I'm writing an email, you know, or talking to the sales team when they're interacting with like their clients and accounts and like the retailers who partner with us, but they, you know, is like, why should I give a shit? You know, like that is a question that I feel like if you're making anything or putting any content out there, that should be something that you ask, you know, because you do want to like draw people in, you know. So even if you look at like our, I don't know, like our flagship items or like our basic kind of items, like our distillate gummy, for example. That's, you know, from scratch, pectin base, so it's not gonna, even if you're not vegan, the melting point on that is much higher. So you can toss them in your bag, you can leave them in your car, and it's not going to turn into one big blob and like a mystery dose. You know what I mean? We've all probably been there where you're like, I think that's 20. You know what I mean? And it turns out to be 100. And, but so, you know, higher melting point there, all from scratch. Even down to the distillate that we put in those products. You know, Disty gets a bad name for sure, but we have an outdoor farm, so we see everything that goes into those products. And I think that
that's you guys. Yeah, that's dope.
Pretty rare that people have all 3 things where it's like an outdoor farm, distillation, and products to put them into. And if you kind of, I think eventually some things will kind of come up with even Disty. Like there's a lot of converted oil that's coming in the market, or you know, you just don't know the source of things. So to
bingo, a lot of people are like, hey, how cheap can I get that biomass?
For sure. And doesn't take, you don't have to be a mathematician or have much experience to realize that, like, you know, like these are prices that you're doing something, cutting some sort of corner. So, you know, we know where everything comes from with it, and, you know, we're even partnered with the commissary program on those. So we make a donation to the commissary program, which is associated with the Redemption Foundation.
Yeah, I was reading a little bit about that on your website. I was going to ask what your involvement was with that.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah, you know, we help contribute and put money on the books for people who are in prison for cannabis-related offenses. Hopefully there won't be a need for that program too much longer, but there definitely are still people in prison paying the price for things that we get to enjoy on a daily basis and feed our families with. So it just doesn't feel right not to be able to contribute somehow. And Ryan does an awesome job with making sure that the people that we're putting money on the books for, you know, like, you know, that they don't have a lot of resources, and he's been in that situation, and you almost feel like you're left behind, you know what I mean? Or, you know, so to be able to do something, we just heard that within this year, from what we're able to do with the program, we'll max out everybody's books within a year, and then I believe the goal is to create accounts so like their families can come visit them and
that's
stuff
gonna
like
be
that.
incredible,
So
bro.
they know that they aren't, you know, forgotten about.
I feel like that's a big thing, bro. Everybody, especially when the homie's going away, because I've been in that situation. When the homie's going away, bro, everyone's like, I'm going to write you, bro. I'm going to make sure I, like, call. I'm going to make sure you got money on your books. And then 2 weeks later, bro, after, like, everybody does out that first round, everybody's gone.
Yeah.
And it's so messed up, bro. Dude. Like, you got to take care of your people. Because, I mean, like you said, they took care of us in this business, bro. Like, without them, we would not be doing what we're doing right now. So, at least I wouldn't. No. Or I would, but I'd be a lot more stressed.
It'd be a different experience for sure. Yeah. No, I couldn't drive the fucking truck I drove here.
Exactly,
you know what I'm saying?
Bro. Like, he showed up in a whole wrapped truck, bro. It was crazy. Sure. And homie showed up with a good amount of stuff in here, too. So I want to take a look in here. I took a peek earlier. We set some stuff out here. But, bro, these guys, for one, it's one of the most recognizable packs, I feel like, that's on the shelves. It's simple. It's clean. It's super, super easy. And, I mean, you can tell what's going on right from the pack. I like that they're 50 milligram bites. I cannot eat a ton of gummies, bro. Don't give me 10 gummies in a bag. Oh, I know. I got to get to that 200 dose, like... now.
Yeah. And if they're individually wrapped too, you feel like you're eating sunflower seeds or like crab legs or something like that. You're just ripping plastic packets and you're like, all right, I got my 6 pieces now.
Oh, bro, I know that feeling. So I bought some gummies that were, and this was actually fire. Last podcast we did, it'll be dropping this Tuesday, but we talked about weird it was the second one. We talked about weird food combinations. And this was definitely one of those gummies that was weird. Chocolate covered. Yep. But it was a orange gummy.
Yeah, I've had those as well.
It was
solid.
Pretty good. Yeah. I was surprised. Like, I snuck it in a movie theater. But that's where that problem came into play, because if you had those, you understand each one of them suckers is individually wrapped. Bro, I was in there. Thank God we were the only ones in the theater that night, because I was just like... For sure, bro. Well, hey, man, look, we've definitely passed... Yeah, we're past 10 minutes. Let's go ahead and spark these J's up, bro. Yeah, for sure. That's good. We're trying to avoid the old ban, you know.
Smart.
I speed rolled these, so hopefully they smoke all right. But
it looks solid.
Some flour I picked up from a caregiver that I'm good friends with. Shout out Mario.
Hell yeah. He was the guy in the second episode, right?
Yeah. Hell yeah, buddy. Yeah. Yeah, he's got some good shit. So. Always love chilling with that dude too. He's a blast. He's a hoot. He's you know, just like you probably saw in that episode, moved up from Miami, so he's kind of like me in the sense we're both out-of-staters trying to figure out this Michigan market. What about you? Where did you start up here? Where are you from? You know?
Yep. I grew up in Jackson area, where we're based out of. So I was born at the hospital there, and then grew up in a small town in that area, Grass Lake.
Yeah.
So
how'd you get into like cannabis? Was it something like you started like? For me, I started smoking young, but like, how'd the passion start, bro?
So I did try it, you know, 7th, 8th grade, you know, friends older brother type thing, pot can, and then you know, had my first few experiences that way. Honestly, in high school, I didn't really smoke hardly at all. I was super into like sports, and I dated a girl who, for whatever reason, she just like wasn't into it.
No,
so
same,
I was young, and I was like, I'm not into it either. You know what I mean?
Started young, and then dude had a huge hiatus, like huge. I probably wouldn't have even. This is terrible to say, but like I don't think I would have even looked at smoking at that time at all, even for myself. Like it was just like I don't want to be a pothead.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, we all hear like crazy things, you know what I mean? Especially before I feel like the stigma's starting to break down at this point, but yeah, I mean, it wasn't painted as a positive thing, and you know, if you whatever fell into that mindset, like, definitely understandable. It's a totally different environment nowadays, you know, like we do realize that you can be successful and enjoy this plant, you know what I mean? But yeah, I did it all through high school, and then probably around like 2021 started getting back into it. Just a group of friends and I were like, hey, let's get some weed. And at that point, it was probably right before medical legalization. So like the wave had kind of started.
The stigma had started to drop. Yep. I feel like that's starting to, like, even with mushrooms now up here. Almost.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's funny. Oh, I don't want to get off on a tangent, so I'll just stick to my
train of thought. We'll revisit that later on.
But yeah, 2021 started, not the year, but my age, 20 to 21, started smoking, and then pretty much was a daily thing at that point. And then I discovered extracts super early on, and I was like, this is for me, you know.
Early on, is it like in your smoking?
Yeah.
Or like early on, like when extracts started?
I guess, I mean, extracts have always, you know, been around in a form, but
let's say like even shattering up.
Yeah, oh yeah, shatter, and even back then, like, you know, bubble, it was not melt the way it is now, but you know, we tried. You know, we tried a lot.
Combusting. Nail dab.
Yep. And pressing stuff out, and
an old hair straightener.
Yeah. Yep. Dude, we were kind of onto something, because if you look at even, I was thinking about that this morning, getting ready for this, like some of those techniques that we did back then, not knowing, and just like, this seems to melt better this way. If you, you know, put the bubble in the freezer and then take a microplane and, you know, make sure it's spread out really thin on parchment, let it dry out. And like, if you think about it now, that's essentially kind of what they're doing with rosin. They, you know, but they're using freeze dryers.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, just trial and error, trying to figure stuff out. But yeah, got into extracts, and I was like, yeah, this is for me for sure. I was hooked, everything about it, just like the flavors, the concentrates, the glass, everything kind of associated with it. I was into it.
Yeah, no, you loved it. No, it sounds I resonate a lot with that, I should say. Just was completely out of it, and I mean, my parents were youth leaders, so like, I come from a super like strict Christian background, so definitely was a big no-no, you know. And now things are viewed a little bit differently, and it was a lot of my, I think, change was when I stopped smoking. I had a lot of bouts with like depression and all sorts of stuff as a younger kid, and have been bullied through high school, a ton of different stuff like that, bro. So my mom and dad, their first thing was like, oh, therapy and medication.
Yeah.
And that even made it like 10 times worse, as everyone figures out. And then I was 18, and that girl and I that I had been seeing broke up, and I was like, Homie was like, yo, bro, you want to go smoke? I was like, he's like, I'm getting off work. I got a jar of weed, and somebody just dropped it off. I was like, how much do you want? He's like, nothing. He's like, just come smoke. And I was like, okay. Got way too high, bro. Way too high. And after that, though, bro, it was like, it started being one of those things where I just smoked at night, because I noticed like it still affected me throughout the next day. Like, I wasn't high from it, but I could feel just like more relaxed even that like morning, when a lot of times, like, I deal with sleep apnea, so like I don't have a machine or nothing like that, because I travel a lot and don't want to travel with it. So like, I wake up in a panic sometimes, you know, because I'm not breathing or stuff like that. It's a great way to start your morning off with an anxiety attack. So finding out like, yo, I can smoke the night before, get some better rest. You know, wake up and I'm not feeling that way, was just the biggest change for me. It was like that light switch moment in my head. I'm like, yo, this is a drug just like anything else, and it can be utilized and it can be abused. And I think that, like, you know, you were talking about how the stigma was fading out earlier. I think it's kind of, as somebody and I were talking the other day, like, there was a comparison a while ago that nerds were like really uncool, and then nerds kind of became cool in their own like niche. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then you have a geek and you have a nerd, and those are two different things now, and everyone understands that.
It's got nuanced.
Versus like a burnout and a stoner.
Yeah.
It's something I truthfully believe in, because like I know you're involved in marketing. We could not do what we do and abuse it in the way that it could be abused and function at our jobs and do what we actually need to do.
No, for sure. It's funny that you say that. Like, sales side of things. Like, I've definitely had many meetings where it's just get together and we smoke and we chill and we talk. You know what I mean? But there's time and place. I definitely couldn't do the same thing. And then, be at the office doing different like the technical like shit and like I would lose interest or just start fucking up. You know what I mean? Like, and sometimes I feel boring because my buddy Johnny, who used to work with us, he'd be like, "What pen you got in your pocket?" You know what I mean? And I'm like, "Dog, I'm locked in right now. I'm not yet." But
I'm the type of person that like I will say like smoking and stuff makes me edit when I'm doing graphics and that type of stuff.
To make tedious things fun.
Exactly, because like I get burnt out, and I think that that's just everybody that's in our line of work that deals with any sort of like mass amount of editing and consistent creation. You've got to like have some sort of outlet that can de-stress you. So like I'll be like, oh shit, this file is rendering for 40 minutes. I'm gonna go smoke real quick and go roll up a nice doink and smoke it, and then I'll come back, edit for hours again on end. But like you said, I can't sit there with a pen because I'm like a child, and if you allow me to get high every second of the day, it's probably gonna happen.
I'd love it.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, bro, no, for sure. That's facts. But could you tell us a little bit more about, the passion and the expertise of your team? How do they all contribute to your guys' success? I know there's you said you had a lot of divisions there. Maybe you can even tell me a little bit about your guys' marketing standpoint too, and what you think works for you guys so well, and how you're educating the market about your products.
Yeah. Wow. What was the first part about that?
I
just
sorry,
don't want
to
to forget it.
one.
No, you're good.
Could you tell us about the passion and expertise of your team?
Yes. So I think that really you can tell the brands that kind of started with caregiver roots and have that organic kind of start and feel to them.
Yeah.
I mean, you see it in, I'm going to name drop a few, but like HOG, Wojo, Light Sky Farms, Us. Like, you can tell the people that are in charge of the different departments, they are passionate about it. It's what they would be doing if this happened or not. You know what I mean? So to have them involved, like, you end up with a product where people want to consume it. It might not be what you're looking for, like your, cup of tea or whatever, but everything that we put out, we genuinely try to put out things that we would consume ourselves. Okay. And if you're not going to want to consume it yourself, or tell a loved one or a homie like, hey, you should consume this, like, it's crazy that it's crazy though, but there's a lot of that in stores now.
I've said that Michigan is full of mids now
for
a minute.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've said that and I've preached that, and like, it's sad, but the stores are just oversaturated. Stores are getting way too big, and it's becoming like a convenience store with a bunch of options you don't know what to choose from.
Yeah.
Like, I wish brands would hone in on things that they're good at.
Yep.
And fucking crush it.
Yeah.
I think that's something you guys do well.
Thank you.
So, I mean, you're one of the I'd say favorite people for, like I said, gummies, and then by far, I'd have a hard time catching those 510 threaded pins anywhere. So
no, for sure. It's been a cool
I'm
problem.
excited that I get one now.
Oh yeah.
I got to review it.
And we're working, the real hold up with it is, there's a couple, but mostly it's the material. It's everything's indoor cultivation. So to have that in resin is not, I can't really, I know of a few, and a lot of them are trim and smalls and larvae kind of stuff, but like the nug runs are legitimate, like whole plant nugs. Like, that's
good enough.
And so you can't, when it when it blows up and you have to scale, it takes a little while, you know. Like we make the joke all the time, like we're steering a big ship. It almost takes 2 weeks to react to anything because there's packaging, there's materials, there's everything that goes into it. It's a plant. Like you can't just snap your fingers and say,
You have to sleep at some
let's have
point
more.
in time, you know.
Yeah,
you have to go to bed and stop designing a second as well, you know.
No, for sure. But yeah, even like the hardware, the original hardware we absolutely loved. It flavor-wise is perfect. It doesn't have any issues in function. But like the first order took over 6 months.
Wow.
We're still waiting on another order that was placed in late January.
Wow.
So like
that's actually crazy to think about.
A different hardware moving forward. We still have another, and we want to keep, because at the end of the day, we want to give the best experience to the end consumer. Sure. You know what I mean? So if it sucks that we have to switch up, but you know, production keeps going. You couldn't wait on 8 months for something. You know what I mean? Like,
have you guys, I assume, test that quite a bit and made sure?
Absolutely. This is O2 vapes, so you probably have their hardware.
Love it.
Plenty.
I love what you're talking my language, bro.
Yes. Yep. So no metal, no cotton wick. Everything's
and it'll
real
be 510 or disposable.
Oh, the 510s. I'm sorry.
No, you're talking disposables.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
And then the 510s we do ABD. They're active now, but great products as well. All ceramic. Like.
Yep.
Yeah.
I had seen some O2 510s come on the market, and I was like, that's why I just got the confusion. But I was like, wow, that's.
I think ice cream.
That's what I was about to say. It was at that event, bro. Those were interesting to see. I can't find those on shelves anywhere either. No. Those get bought out left and right too. Yep. I think that's a huge thing. You know, up here, I tend to gravitate towards disposables, and it's terrible probably for
convenience.
But it is.
You know?
It is. I mean, and I see a lot of my buddies out of state. They're like strictly, 510, and it makes a lot of sense. You know, you can't go to the store and just get a disposable like we can up here. But man, I love my disposables.
Yeah, I know. It's something that we're like, do we do it? Like, because there's always been like kind of outdoorsy kind of feel with True North Collective, like that side of the brand. Yeah. And so we're like, well, do we do that and have all-in-ones or disposables? Like the word disposable even sounds terrible. You know what I mean? Like, but there are some people that are working towards a solution for that problem. But there's a lot of waste in general in this industry.
Yeah,
it's
not
just this.
The pre-roll industry is the biggest one that I see, bro.
Yeah, I mean packaging, even compliance stuff holds you to. When we were doing 100 milligram packages, now we're able, if you think about it, like able to put twice as much product in the same amount of packaging. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's all.
We got in a liquid that had a measuring dose thing on the side. Okay? And it was clear.
Oh, yep.
And the bottom of it was wrapped. It was a wrapped drink, and this little bit right here was clear. Dude, we had to go through and sticker all that shit. And you know exactly what's going to happen whenever people get it.
Yeah. No.
Right in the trash it goes.
Right, yeah.
It's like, why? Yeah. Like, I get it. It's compliance, but it's dumb.
No, for sure.
I don't like it.
No, they got my uncle. No, I'm just kidding. My buddy Johnny's over at Highway now, and one of their brands is Uncle Arnie's. And similar thing where, like, just a small window from what I heard on the bottom.
It's exactly who I was talking about.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's ironic, yeah.
It's exactly what I was talking about. Because the first time it happened, and then they switched it, they thought they were going to be good. They switched it, shipped us another one, and then when it was like, hey, guys, we got to do it again now. They took care of the stickers, all that stuff for us, guys.
Right,
I don't want to make it seem like it was like a big deal.
Right, but
in grand scheme of things, I hope that changes, because I don't want sticker label to fuck up where I'm seeing my dosage at, especially for someone who's trying to use it more medicinally.
Yeah, sometimes, I mean, it sucks when the rules for anything are written by people who don't live it. You know what I mean? We talk about it all the time. You know.
I'm not gonna hate, but that's why I don't smoke Zigzag. I ain't gonna cap.
Yeah.
Because their owner doesn't smoke weed.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those deals.
I'm not judging, but like it's like selling to a purchaser who doesn't smoke. I'm just like, what? You're judging all of this intake for all of this?
Yeah.
What? How am I supposed to connect to you?
Or the bud tender, I'm like, hey, what do you like? Oh, I don't know, I just smoke carts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
it's just
shit.
I mean, that's fine. I'm not judging on a personal level, but at least be aware, you know, like there are people who don't drink or don't drink a ton who know a fuck ton about wine or liquor or beer or whatever.
If I got a question about carts, I know who I'm going to ask.
Yeah.
Seriously. There ain't nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that that's a bad person to have on the team, but I also need the person there for the bud.
For sure.
Man, so how could you, or how would you, and we kind of talked about this a little bit, but what's the significance of your brand name, even True North Collective? I know you said you guys gravitate towards outdoors, you know.
Yeah.
So could you tell me maybe where that came from, if you know?
Yeah. So I started about a year into it, but previously I ran like front of house for a small group of restaurants, and the group of guys would come in, and I had heard about it happening for a while.
Yeah.
And it was a slow build, honestly, at the beginning. Like I was like, is this gonna happen? And then like you saw everything go through with legalization and stuff like that in Michigan, and so like, wow, this might happen. But anyways, like, so I was into it like probably a year-ish after things started.
Yeah.
But from what I hear was, so the actual caregiver and our original head grower both were from Ohio.
Yep.
And so like, I guess this is north to them, but it's weird telling people in the UP like, hey, where are you guys from? Because they assume,
wow.
Columbus area. There was
My
actually,
mom's a Buckeye, so.
Okay, yeah. Yep. I mean, a lot of great growers and genetics and stuff. I think being close to Ann Arbor too, like there's always that connection, like to Ohio. Even then, like some of the best, grows and people.
I see a lot of people in Hash Bash from Ohio that was pushing hell.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. I mean, and I feel like it's more meaningful because they weren't just born here and fell into it. Like they sought it out. You know what I mean? For it, like yourself. You know what I mean? Like those people are really passionate about it. So yeah, I think that was kind of like the north to them.
North.
But,
that's cool.
And
bro.
it's like
it's the true push to the north.
Yeah,
you know? Like,
or like
sick.
a point of trueness or like that kind of thing. But
that's cool, bro. That is cool. I like that. Could you share? I know we talked about the O2. Is there anything else on the horizons for you guys like that's new coming out? What's some new products that are on the way?
We're doing some R&D right now for so we did some rosin gummies with Ice Cream Hash Company.
Yeah, speaking of which, I've been dying. I'm going to do it just for the sake of the podcast. This is 200 milligrams. I haven't tried Watermelon Slushy yet.
It's a good one.
So,
it's a good one. Yeah.
Hopefully I survive this podcast.
No, I did. I've been cutting back on my dosage with edibles lately, but last night I did a 50 of watermelon.
So, okay, so it's funny you say that, so have I. So, like, I was taking, bro, like, I'd start off my morning with 200 milligrams type shit. And I was like, I may want to reconsider life a second. Like, I'm definitely using way too much. I should not be spending this much money on weed for one.
Right.
Like, at this point, I need insurance for my meds. So, no, same here. So that's why I know, like, this 200... it's gonna end my day.
Yeah.
Fortunately.
No, I mean,
bro.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely get that hashy flavor, but really good candy as well.
What candy is that like? That's like almost like I know what it is. It tastes like, for me at least, it tastes like the the gum that had like, was it the Hubba Bubba that had like the juice almost on the inside, like a squishy middle?
Core. Yeah.
And it was the watermelon one out of that watermelon burst there.
Yeah, it definitely tastes that or
that's
like a watermelon big league chew.
Yes.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
These are dangerous.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we have a different style of watermelon too, the electric watermelon that's part of the Disty lineup, and that's like a little more tart kind of watermelon. That's like a super sugar sweet like watermelon.
Yeah, bro. No, I love it. I love the consistency of your guys' stuff too.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's a hard thing with gummies. I have left your guys' gummies in my car on a hot day.
Yep.
And came back, and they were fine.
Yep. Yeah, the pectin.
It just does its thing, bro.
Yep. No, for sure. They'll get softer and they'll get warm because when we first did
soft, but it wasn't a puddle.
Exactly. No. I left a pack in the center console of the truck for months during the summer, just when we first came out with that recipe, just to test it, because I don't want to tell people bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, and cars get hot as shit in the summertime.
Yeah, they do, bro. Yeah. Hell yeah, they do. Melt your deodorant and stuff if you ain't careful. Like hot.
Absolutely.
By the way, number 4. So.
Oh yeah.
Dude, those are. It's bad. You know. Okay, I'll tell you this. This is how you know if I'm ever. I will never bullshit on camera. But if you ever catch me too high and for some reason that happens, call my ass out. Because what I'll do is I'll eat one gummy and then you'll see me immediately go for water. Or some sort of drink.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Bro, like, I'm salivating. That's like, I used to eat, like, the gummy worms and, like, the sour gummy worms for, like, Cottonmouth. That's, like, the go-to snack for me. You get what I'm saying, you know?
It's funny that, I've been doing these for a little... I didn't even realize I got strawberry. There's a fruit one that's, like, every 2 ones, they, like, change flavor. And
the Mentos, the fruity mint, it's the same thing. Yep.
One of the first times I ever like ate mushrooms or anything. A buddy was like, here, he called them like flavor bombs or satisfaction bombs or some nonsense, and I was just like, all right, but it does cure cottonmouth really well.
Damn, bro. Yeah. Okay, pro tip for if we're gonna talk about just a second that real quick, mushrooms. If you're gonna eat them, I found out a hack.
Okay.
Okay. Fruit roll-ups. Throw it in the middle. Roll it up, and every bite you won't taste it because the gummy just keeps closing over it.
Yep.
It's no problem.
Oh,
like super, super. I'm talking about morels was what we're talking about here. Morel mushrooms, you know.
Exactly. Big in Michigan.
You got to make sure that they're coated in gummies because man, we hate the taste of those.
Yeah. Speaking of gummies and mushrooms, we have a CBG gummy that has lion's mane extract in it.
Really? I'd be interested in trying some of those, bro. I saw your guys' website. You guys have a ton of...
personal... I didn't, it's a fresh gummy, but not a fresh pack.
Much love.
Yeah. Is that the apple or citrus?
That is the... I'm trying to see. Forbidden apple, bro.
Okay, yep.
That sounds...
I personally like the apple better, but everybody else is like citrus. But
no, apple is one of my favorites, bro.
Yeah.
So, dude, no,
really
that's
good daytime.
Incredible.
Yeah.
I saw you guys had stuff with CBN in it, different ratios, all sorts.
Yep.
You have more than just this that's helping people medicinally.
Yeah, absolutely. And kind of going back to how do you differentiate the products, you know what I mean? It's kind of getting clear, concise, groupings of it, and continuing to expand on what we're good at and offering things for specific people, because as time goes on, please remember, it definitely started as a medical product, you know what I mean, and people seek specific benefits out of that. So
that's what so I tell people, this could be a rabbit hole, but we won't go down this far. Indica sativa hybrid, it can be subjective.
Yeah.
A lot of times, I think there's sativas that act like indicas, and there's a lot of indicas that can act
so
like
many
sativas.
Different factors too. If you grow it for longer, or pull it early, or just, you can look at a trichome head, and I feel like that would probably give you more clues into how things are gonna. Because you could take it further and shit gets more amber, and it has different effects, and it's the same exact cultivar,
No, for sure, bro. That's that type of thing. I'd be trying to find a gummy and stuff, and I'm like, I can't find a good daytime gummy a lot of times that just works, that doesn't just fuck me up sometimes, bro. You get what I'm saying? So,
and I don't mean to shit talk or anything, but there's disty gummies that say sativa and indica on them. I'm like, how do you have sativa distillate?
Please talk about it. Please.
Essentially, you're isolating pretty much just THC. So there's nothing else that could support it and give it any of those effects that you're talking about. You're kind of just printing words on packages to sell more things. And we, especially with our True North, our distillate line, the one that's colorful and kind of psychedelic
Yeah.
looking patterns. Yeah. Like we could probably sell twice as many as we do right now if we printed sativa, indica on these things, but you got to be transparent and just, you know.
I love that you do that.
Yeah.
Because it forces bud tenders too. Oh my God, I love this. So, bro, it forces bud tenders when they tell you. I've been able to even teach this as well. Like, there's nothing on the package because all distillate is essentially a hybrid.
Yeah.
It's literally...
And most of it is bred to that point anyways. Like, even our full spectrum, like, we have started printing on there because when you walk into a store, it's hard, it's overwhelming. So to be able to put something front facing on the package that people can get as much information, because like you don't know whether or not that bud tender is educated on the product or not. There's a lot of products in that store, you know what I mean? Like, you can't fucking try everything and buy everything.
Back to as many products are coming out and all the stuff that's being pushed through, you know that education is not being pushed through like that either.
So we put, you know, sativa leaning or sativa dominant hybrid or indica dominant.
You do sativa dominant right here. Here's an indica dominant.
Yeah.
Like, bro, that's the type of stuff I'm talking about. Like, that's so nice. And the fact that you guys are just transparent with it and are like, we're not going to deceive anyone, so why would we even ever put that on a package, bro?
No,
like,
for sure.
That's incredible. I think that says a lot about your guys' brand too. You know,
and you know, with the marketing stuff, like I feel, you know, you want to brand it well and you want to make sure that the message is conveyed, but you don't want like there's definitely people that are just marketing speak too much on everything, and it's just anyways, it's misleading and kind of shitty thing to do. You know what I mean? Just
I had a guy, and this is no hate to him whatsoever, but it's just one of those things where not even just him, 3 people recently in my life have come up to me and told me about this full gram hash rosin 510 cart that they tried, and they just loved it. One of the best ones they've tried, bro. It got me ripped, all this stuff, and it's a full gram, 510. Okay. I'm like, which one is it? And they tell me play. Okay. And I'm like, bro.
Yeah.
Bro.
Oh, yeah.
So
there's definitely lines, you know, some people like it more than others, but there's some that's a blatant, you know what I mean?
And that's where I'm like, all right, sorry, bro, it's a distillate infused cart, and no one's saying I'm not gonna hate, I'm not gonna say you're only putting a little bit or maybe you're putting a lot of it. Right. I'm not gonna say what you're doing. I don't know. Right. You know, but there's definitely that line that some people ride where, and I'm not saying that it's that brand, but I know for sure there's multiple other brands out there who are willing to slap some words on packages that are really iffy.
The words are crazy.
Oh, bro. Facts.
There's so many premium things out there. You know what I mean? I'm just like, premium distillate. I'm like, all right. Like, what are you talking about?
All right. Now, before you click off or go anywhere, just bear with me for 1 second. I just want to tell you about our new website that has all the new reviews of all the different products in Michigan, so you know what to buy before hitting the store. It's also got how-tos, so you can save a little bit of money and make some stuff at home. And it's got our very own merch finally on the website, so you can support us and support this channel to help us keep going. Now, without further ado, let's hop back into the podcast. What makes it premium? That's one of the questions that I ask a lot of people about their product right off the bat in general, is like, not just even what makes it different, but if I see that word, I'm like, so what does make your product premium? Or, you know, I had an argument with someone before. It was like, what? They had claimed that their product was the Gucci of their product. And I was like, yo, what makes it Gucci? And they just lost their cool immediately. And it was one of those deals. It was like, okay, you're having a hard time saying this right now because is it Gucci? I don't know, but can you inform me on it, you know?
Yeah.
And that's one of those things where I think a lot of people just toss these words around and hope for the best. And, you know, it's like, yo, what do these actually mean?
No, for sure.
I love that you guys are just avoiding all of it. And they're like, let's just go straight to the point here.
No, for sure.
Oh, man, for sure. How do you guys approach, like, balancing compliance with creativity in the cannabis industry? I know you're marketing, bro, so this has got to be, this is one of those, like, I'm sure, like, balances with you that you probably, it's a love-hate relationship, I'm sure.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Mostly hate, probably.
Yeah, absolutely. I could.
Because we can be so much more creative than what people will allow us to be.
100%. And like, so with edible packaging, for people that don't know, like, you can't have like fruit or animals or characters, or like, it can't be confused with like a non-infused product. You know what I mean? Essentially, that's what they're trying to do. So like, anything that's ingestible and eaten like that, like, follows different compliance for packaging. So it's like, we had this one. It was Cosmic Kiwi, one of my favorite flavors, honestly. It was before we switched the recipe, so I don't know if we should do it sometime.
You should do that. Now you got
anyways,
me curious,
yeah. But on the front of it was UFO, and it was beam, and then there was like a silhouette of a person being abducted.
Okay.
And so they made us like change just the silhouette of the person going up into the spacecraft. That was the only thing. So like,
wait, you couldn't have it in there, or did it have to go adjusted height? Or?
Yeah, so we already printed it out, and they put everything on like the stores. So they'll hit the stores. So the stores reach out to us, and we're here to support, because that's one thing that sales wise, like, that's what we're doing. Like, if you work with us and you say that you want us to be someplace, like, we will be there. Like, we truly want to support you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then they press the stores, like, they face all these fines for compliance. So now you got to rush stickers to put over everything, and you know what I mean? Like, so we had to have this little tiny sticker that was just like a pixelated version of that was like our sensor bar or whatever.
Okay, yeah.
So
crazy, bro. Isn't that?
But yeah, yep. There's those limitations. And then social media, you know, like our True North account, it got deactivated, like close to 10,000 followers, and like.
Did you guys get it back, or did you start another?
Couldn't. Like, reached out to them. Like, I don't even know if they've even processed it, to be honest with you. It's a terrible thing to deal with, because in all reality, if you have under, 100,000 to 300,000, like, at that point you get a rep, from what I hear, and you could have direct ties to it. But
we'll talk after this. I can show you how to get your rep now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's sweet. But like, it's so hard. You just feel helpless. You know what I mean?
You do.
You're like, we built this
Even
for like,
with a rep,
4 or 5. Okay. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. They'll tell you stuff like, "Hey, I'll give you a phone call." I've had it like
5. I've talked to somebody, but it still was like.
Well, I'll say this: 5 out of the 7 times I've called or got the call now, it's been fixed. So I'll give them that side. But this last time, bro, I got reported on some like weird stuff, and it was on a post that somebody else had made of me. Tagged me in the post because I was at an event.
Yeah. That
post got taken down. They removed it, and then they banned my account from going live for like a month.
Damn.
And Instagram now is like, this is a glitch. And they called me about it and everything. Like, talk to you in 2 weeks. Our internal team's trying to figure this one out. It's like, is that true? Or are you just going to... And then I noticed today my live ban got decreased to 6 days. So I reached back out. I was like, yo, hey, what's up with this? And he's like, we got part of it removed, but there's still something going on. He's like, don't worry, we'll get it figured out within 2 weeks. And I'm like, well, in 6 days, it matter, But there's, I'll say this, if you give Instagram some money, they help you. But you got to give them some money. And it's not in advertising, because advertising dollars don't go to them. And it gets spread so thin that it don't matter, unfortunately, bro. But yeah, I've noticed a lot of packaging with like that had fruit has like disappeared. Now everybody tends to go for colors.
Yep.
So how do you guys, and this is a good question for the marketing guy, whenever you guys get flavors that are close in color and stuff like that, what do you guys do? What's kind of the thought and brainstorm behind it? Like, blue raspberry, for instance, was created because there was no other color for a raspberry.
Oh, okay,
You get what I'm saying? So, like, how do you guys, like, differentiate that with your packaging? How do you set your stuff apart?
Yeah, so individual line too kind of has a different theme. Like the rosin is going to be a rotating series, so we're working with Wojo on the next round. We're going to continue to work with
that's
ice
some
cream.
new stuff that's coming up, bro.
I think I started telling that and then kind of got sidetracked with the other part of the conversation.
Okay.
But
Wojo's coming out.
Yep.
Okay.
So we're doing some R&D on those.
Help me out. What's the difference between the black packs and like the colored ones here? Just
So the ones in your left hand, they're rosin gummies.
Okay.
Those are collaboration, kind of solid colors, similar scheme, obviously.
Yep.
And then the ones in your right hand, 5-star extracts, full spectrum gummies.
Okay. Yeah.
So they're a resin in a gummy form.
Okay.
Same recipe, but they're
Full
even
spec.
strain specific. Yep, strain specific too. So if you flip them around to the backside on the metric tag, it'll say what it's infused with. So
Sunset octane on this one. Wow.
So yeah, if you like those effects,
awesome,
then you can go to other ones. And dude, it started off with like, all right, so we have some oil. Let's do some full spec gummies. So we did it, and then we were like, all right, let's make it strain specific, and then did that, and then now the indica sativa labeling on the front. Just listening to what our accounts and people that we work with want and the consumers want, and try to match that. And just trying to have each line be similar, but
these are more like, I don't know, like these seem like simple, like cool, like premium. And then like, I'm not saying the other ones don't, but like your distillate gummies or the other ones that are like that seem to be more like you said, like psychedelic looking and like, I don't want to say fun, if that makes sense, but like they do have like, I think one of them has like some depictions or like clip art on it, like some stuff you guys designed up of like a lighthouse or like, if I'm remembering correctly.
Traverse City Cherry.
Yes. So I'm not tripping. That's facts.
No. The person who helped us, like, who actually designed all of them, from the Disty line to the full spec line. Now we, are updating the rosin packaging. We're doing some other stuff now, packaging, but pretty much everything to start was designed by Andy Zavanek is his name. He's brothers with our fulfillment director.
Right on.
And
that's nice to have him like right in the back pocket. To help you guys. Hands on.
Absolutely. He like did some work for us, and then we've worked with him for several years. I think he worked full time for Sharpie as a graphic designer for a while.
Wow.
So, but yeah, everything in the company kind of feels
you definitely can
organic
see
and
it,
connected.
Yeah.
It's like. It's not.
It feels very tied together.
Yeah.
Like it stands out on the shelf, and then you can see different things. Now, I've also seen different things with your guys' extracts and concentrates. Like there's a white box and there's a black box.
Yeah. Yep. So the white box are the Nug Run. So like what these pens are.
Yep.
And the pucks.
Yep.
And
right
then,
on.
The black boxes are the cured batters. So when a lot of people hear cured, and I totally understand, being a concentrate fan, why cured would be a turnoff, because most of the time it is. Yeah. And it's either super dark material that's not desirable, or it's stuff that's paler than me. You know what I mean? It's CRC to death.
Yep.
But our cured product, it hits the freezer within like 5 to 7 days.
Okay.
So that material's all, larfy material, smalls, things like that. And so we wanted, it's still high quality to be in that brand, because we also have True North concentrate. So if it's not like 5-star or whatever, it goes in those other boxes.
Okay.
But yeah, so you can kind of have an idea of like what you're getting just at a glance.
Some more budget-friendly options.
Is.
Get some people interested, and then continue to test out and move up the line and stuff.
Yeah, for it to be hit the freezer within that short amount of time, it's. I mean, again, to being transparent, most people would say that that's a live resin. You know what I mean? But the truth of the matter is, like, the extraction equipment that we had to start with, the capacity was somewhat limited. So if you're doing fresh frozen material, you have to use like 4 times the amount to get the same return on production. So like now our machines are set up to where we can do live resins and bigger runs and stuff like that. But like, I mean, again, we could just say it was live resin, but
Question
truthfully,
for
it
you.
got the moisture out in 5 days and hit the freezer.
Yeah. Question for you though.
Yeah.
Do you think color matters?
Yeah, I mean it's a factor for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think it's for?
do
Do you think it's more like it matters for like sales or purposes like that, or do you think it actually matters for like what you're dabbing now?
Oh, sales for sure, but that is just following what people want. You know what I mean?
Because there's some darker hash rosins though that I love. I'm not gonna cap.
Yes. Oh yeah. There's definitely different techniques and stuff
like,
that produce
even live
natural
resin. Like I would tell you, like I don't. In my opinion, I think like sales wise, a lot of people get turned off by that dark color. But I've had some really good dark live resins that have been just A1.
Yeah, and you can tell, the difference between like where it's darkening up and it's getting brownish rather than like a amber or like a orangish or something like that,
Yeah.
But yeah, some of those resins are just naturally darker, or like the technique just, makes it darker.
What's the maybe you'll know some insight on this being in the industry. What's the telltale sign for CRC, do you think?
Oh, there's definitely a smell associated with it, and it just looks.
What's that smell?
It's hard to explain.
Is it like, for me it almost smells like a cleaner.
Yeah.
Like a women cleaner or something.
Yep. I don't want to say citrus because like that's obviously found in plenty of concentrates, but like once you kind of smell it, like you can pick it up. You're like, it's a similar thing, and it catches your mind, and you're like, oh, it's that. But most of the time for me, it's just the looks.
Yeah.
It looks like the ghost of a concentrate, which kind of is. You know what I mean? It's just like, just doesn't have any life to it. It's not gold. It's like gold in a bad way. You know what I mean? Like
it's like had the life sucked out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
And a lot of people think like that's the best, bro.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely.
I've seen a lot of people going into like this THCA flour and stuff now, like where they're spraying all the isolate on flour, and I'm like, guys, be careful. But then I recently saw something that a company was doing. I'll have to show you after this podcast, but it's complete solventless snow, like snow caps or snow.
Okay, yeah.
Frosted flour. It's interesting. It's gonna be. It'll be. I think something that'll hit the market again, and I don't know. I just have a hard time smoking stuff that looks like it's powdered with drugs I don't want to use.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's valid. Yeah, I think I don't know. Just the plant is so interesting by itself that like doing too much in processing. But who am I to judge? Whatever you like,
Yeah, for sure. Whatever floats your boat.
But it's to me, it's cooler
get
when
crazy. Let's see what we can do with it. Yeah, and maybe let's back off. Right?
Yeah, I mean, in dabbing, that is what has made it always cool to me, is just like constantly evolving and like the small little tweaks that make it more enjoyable. Like it.
People are starting to figure out, hey, let's move away from actual ice and just use really, really, really cold water that the same temperature that just circulates. You know? There's always new techniques. Tom and I kind of talked about that on the first episode,
Yeah.
And he's like, at the end of the day, we're just freebasing hats. It's facts, bro.
Yeah.
It's crazy how far it's come from. Like, I grew up in a very small town, so like the big talk back then about like exclusive stuff wasn't like what Cali or even Michigan was experiencing. Michigan was experiencing like shatter and stuff like that, and that was like super new. Indiana wasn't even on that. They were still like tripping about like where they could get tie sticks, and like how tie sticks had changed and all this, and like it's crazy to like come from that market and then get up here and just see how rapid you guys, like every single month something seems to be like new. Like it's just always evolving. It's nuts, bro.
No, for sure. Cool to see things come back too. You know what I mean? Like
I'm waiting for tie sticks. Somebody do it, please.
Right. Oh yeah. Somebody definitely trying to cook it up.
I would die for it. Huna did something I will say that was interesting. They did a full melt wrap.
Yeah.
That was. I had seen that in Spain.
Yeah.
And then I know a bunch of people working on them right now. And then I'd seen them come out with them. I was like, wow, hey, that's unique. That's something new that's going to come out.
Well, dude, like, I mean, when I moved back, because I went to school for a bit, came back, ended up being a really good buddy. Actually part of the reason why I even got the job at True North to start with, because he was like the loan sales dude to start with. Hit him up on Instagram, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And he was like, anybody trying to do anything with weed, whatever. And I hit him with a weird DM, like, dude, I'd love to do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
no, I want to be in the industry.
And
Help me get in.
Yeah, and popped over to his house, and we had a small grow. I mean, just like a 4-lighter, like in the basement, and just would do bubble hash, which is super obviously common now, and like some of those techniques I was talking about earlier. But he would make
that's coming back around.
Yeah, with like the the stuff that didn't grease up or anything like that. He would press it into wraps even back then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's just, it's cool to see it like always evolving and even coming back, and like
so
things
you had
get much
experience
better.
with it. Have you ever smoked one without flour in it?
No,
bro. So when I saw them in Spain, they didn't put flour in them; they just lit them.
Oh, okay.
So it's like like you're smoking a paper cone.
That's
wild.
Yeah.
I cannot wait for those to get on the market.
Damn.
It's so cool, bro.
Oh,
it's such a unique smoke too. Like you don't have to do anything. It just comes right out of the freezer and you light it, and it doesn't receive a lot of heat because it doesn't allow it to get up to temperature because there's no material in it.
Right.
So it's just like a very, very, very like euphoric high in my opinion that I got. Maybe it was the strain, but that could have something to do with it too. But I want to be able to test them out on the market more a little bit up here. There's stuff like that, like I said, that's just getting more and more interesting to see how the market evolves so rapidly up here. I think a huge play that's going to come around, we were talking about earlier, was drinks. I think I've seen so many stories recently of people who were and considered themselves alcoholics and now are coming in and buying like cases of seltzers, bro, and stuff like that, and teas and everything else for the weekend. And it's like, I'm so happy that's the case, because at the end of the day, they're going to wake up that next morning and not feel like shit and not be drunk and still going to work or something of that nature, you know?
Dude, it's funny. I recently went on vacation for about a week with all my family. It was kind of like the first time we'd all gotten together, my sisters and my parents, and I went and bought a case of the like drinks, and it was only like 7.5 per drink, but it was enough to where like it was social and they could have a few, and like all my relatives were just like, it's an approachable way to like,
especially when
get
small
into
doses like that. You know, you can just sip on one just like you would a beer or anything else, bro. Like I hate to make that comparison. I don't like when people make the
but
it's at the end of the day, like it's a way that I think it's going to make it socially acceptable really, really quick. I've said it for the longest time. Like I think weed is going to take over alcohol when it becomes federally legal. Only because the biggest reason for, I think people are especially will make the switch is there's no calories to weed.
Right.
Like at the end of the day, like maybe from the munchies you eat after you get tanked.
I can attest.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying?
There's a thing.
But at the end of the day, you're not killing your liver.
Right.
And for the most part, I mean, people who smoke, I mean, smoking's not good in any sort of form, I get that, but they haven't seen crazy long-term effects from it either, from a majority standpoint. Like, you see a lot of old heads out here still puffing on. Shout out Willie.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, bro.
Not as many heavy drinkers sticking with it for that long.
No, unfortunately not. They tend to fall off a lot sooner, you know? People say weed's the gateway drug, bro.
Right.
Like,
I mean, that's a silly idea anyway. You know what I mean? Like, where do you draw the line?
Exactly,
it's like,
bro.
Where do you get into like over-the-counter medicine?
Yeah,
like
everything.
Sugar. People will get, you know what I mean? Food. It's just like,
people have full-on blown caffeine addictions and have like withdrawals without their caffeine in the day, and how do you make that comparison? And you know, you're sitting there with your big mug of Mountain Dew or something, you know.
Yeah.
For sure, bro. What's the future hold for True North Collective and Michigan's market up here, bro? What do you guys see in the future? What are you guys trying to do?
Yeah, honestly, just dialing it in over time, it's definitely been a crazy journey. You know, if anybody's been involved with cannabis in general, it's changes fast and often. And actually, one of the first people I talked to on a visit in a store, like 4 years ago, was talking to Danielle at Stone Depot in Jackson. But
Okay, on.
She was like, we'll enjoy the Canna Coaster, and she's like, you know, so there's a lot of ups and downs, but we're finding ways to just change with the market and change, you know, keep adapting to things and still stay true to who we are and trying to come up with new products, keep up with trends and make things that we want to consume ourselves, you know. Like
no, for sure.
Expanding on the things that we're having success with, and, you know.
Well, speaking of Jackson, how's the market up there? Because my buddy lives up there, and he tells me he hates it.
Yeah. Oh, in the stores and stuff?
Yeah.
You know, I think people, I don't know.
And I'm not saying he's checked out all the stores either, but, like, from what I understand, like, he has a hard time finding, like, stuff in Jackson, actually, or, like, stores, period.
Yeah, no, there's some great stores in town, don't get me wrong, but I think if you're, like, people make the assumption about areas like Jackson or Battle Creek or, like, there's a lot of places like this where, like, they're like, oh, it won't sell here, it's Jackson, you know what I mean? But it's just like, man, everybody's, you know, kind of generally trying to do the same thing. So, like, when you see the fresh drops and the cool stuff, like, that's where you're driving to Adrian or Kalamazoo or Ann Arbor. And, you know, it's unfortunate, but, like,
there's not even a whole lot of fresh drops that hit here, bro. I honestly have not been able to find really anything around here. I drive clear to normally Grand Rapids or
I think we'll probably always be in that percent that, you know what I mean, like, seeks it out and truly cares about it, because cannabis means different things to different people. You know what I mean? And, like, sometimes it's what generally is the cheapest thing out there, but, like, I think if we just continue to, like, show, like we were talking earlier before this, like, show that there are better options and offering that and not beating people up about it, but, you know, educating and saying, like, you do deserve better than that.
Yeah, absolutely.
$25 ounce or a shake or whatever, you know what I mean? And no hate. Again, we've all been there where you're like, I got $20 to
I care for you as a human.
Yeah.
And I want to see you live a long time. So maybe let's smoke some.
This shit's cool. Like, just
do your thing, but, like, yo, check out some of this shit too.
There's so much.
And I think that says a lot about the community, though, bro, and, like, the people that you hang out with, you know, and even, like, the people that make up your team. Like, you have to have that, like, sense of yourself of, like, yo, we smoke good stuff, but at the end of the day, not everybody does, so we got to figure out a way to educate them in a way that isn't going to turn them off of us either. And there's a lot of that in the market, like, you don't smoke as good as I do. And that's like a lot of these limited drops are about, that even I have sought after and been disappointed on some of too. Absolutely. So there's that as well. You'll get bit in the ass. But no, for sure, bro. I think that's a huge thing up here is like I always circle back around to is like the education. And it's nice that you guys see that and you're about that. It's not just, yo, hey, we smoke really good stuff and sorry, you can't get in the club.
Right.
Like,
no, it's not a good look for anybody. Just, and don't get me wrong, there are so many times where I want to be like, you're fucking smoking that, you know what I mean? And but I don't want to be a dick, and like, people don't react to that kind of thing. You know what I mean? Just saying, hey, I appreciate it. No, I don't want to hit your whatever brand. You know, try this or something like that. Or have you tried, you know, smell this? Like, I don't know.
I will say that.
And people, like we were saying earlier, started.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I'm interrupting.
People are at different parts in their journey at different times. You know what I mean? And like, you being an asshole is not going to be like, oh yeah, you're totally right. I love this. Like that's. No, you're probably going to be like, fuck that guy and fuck this. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
I'm doing me, and then
yeah.
you're just gonna double down on it. Bro.
Yeah, yep.
Like it's yeah, no, bro, for sure. I will say that I have noticed the cannabis space up here in Michigan is really nice in events. Like you'll see like everyone from brands that are doing the $25 ounces and that type of the $5 carts.
Yeah, yep.
All the way up to $7.10 and these people who have some of the most expensive stuff in the market. Everyone, walking around is treating each other pretty nice. Everyone is like, yo, there's room for all of us in this space. Yeah. There's education, for a reason. And I think what you said is put well. The community does it in and of itself as we sit together, smoke, talk, and talk about what we like. Everyone kind of eventually gravitates upwards. And that was something that Josh said while we were in Spain. He's like, when we share stories and smoke together, we all uplift each other, just like the smoke itself. So,
yeah.
It's true, though, in that aspect. So it's been interesting being up here in the market and learning, just like I said, me being the guy who was buying bulk deals just because I thought that was the best way, bang for my buck, to at that time coughing up a bunch of stuff and like my throat always killing me, to now dialing in what I smoke and how much I smoke of what and whatnot throughout the day. It's been cool to see how it actually affects your body,
Yeah.
And I think that like I said, you guys offer a lot of different levels for that. And I am stoned as fuck off those gummies, my man.
Yeah.
So, oh shit!
I forgot about that. Yeah, and honestly, because they're way more water soluble, I believe is what the lab was saying. But they could be labeled as fast acting, but again, in like kind of marketing word. But they do hit you a lot quicker than our previous recipe, which had gelatin and pectin.
Maybe it's not for your gummies, but I have heard with some hash rosin gummies, the more you chew them, the faster it kicks in.
I could see that. I mean, yeah.
I mean, maybe it's just because it digests faster, but at the same point in time, I heard it had something to do with like actually how it absorbs through your mouth and actual system. So I don't know. I always chew them up well, but man, they kick in. I was sitting there when you were talking earlier, I could feel it in my eyes, bro. They started wincing. I was like, oh God. Then I went on that ramble half the way through because I forgot what I said at the beginning. So, brother's got me, bro. That is for sure. Well, hey, bro, I appreciate you coming on today. Seriously, man. If you're cool, we'll wrap it up there. And seriously, if you would, shout out, where can they find you? You guys got a website, all that stuff?
Absolutely, yep. Website is tncmi.com. Like True North Collective, Michigan. Check us out there. Instagram, True North MI on Instagram. We have a 5-star extracts page as well. That one is 5-star concentrates _.
I'll tag it. I'll tag it. I got you.
That
No
one's
problem.
a little harder to say on live, especially, but
no worries.
Yeah, Instagram, website. We have a store locator there.
Oh, good. Make it easy for everybody to be able to find where you're at. Awesome.
And a majority of the stores throughout the state. If they don't carry us, definitely.
Guys, pick them up. Trust me. You can see it here on camera. They have worked. Appreciate you, doggy. Have a good one, y'all. Absolutely. And I'll catch you next week, everyone.